Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I have a cool unboxing of Nite Ize stuff, right? So Nite Ize has been around forever. Obviously, if you're into EDC stuff, you probably have used or currently own a bunch of Nite Ize stuff, right? All kinds of different clips and keychain gadgets, and they have a bunch of different stuff. So I was totally sleeping on Nite Ize gear for like the last 2 years. I randomly started talking about it with my wife. We went to the website, we looked at everything they have. They have a ton of stuff I didn't even know existed. So we wanted to incorporate a bunch of different things into our EDC as well as use for other stuff. And I just want to do a quick unboxing because there's a bunch of it. All right, so hang on. Let me take this box off to the side. It's easier if I grab one thing at a time here. All right, so we'll start with maybe one of the biggest things on the table. This is the size 10 S-Beaner. All right, this one is plastic. I don't know if you can really, I don't know if it gives it justice, right? My hand here, but super, super cool. This is actually fantastic for groceries. I've used some of the larger carabiners for groceries before, just non-name brand ones. In fact, they give you some ideas here. You can use this, for, hanging a bunch of bags, coats. You can use it for a clip for extension cords, show holding paint. I would like to literally keep this in my vehicle and use this as a handle for a bunch of grocery bags. I'm a dude, and dudes tend to do the one-trip grocery round, right? So that means that if you got 2 bags of groceries, you're going to grab those, shut the vehicle, lock it up, go in your home. If you have 20 bags, you're probably going to try to hold all 20, right? It doesn't always work out, just depends. A lot of times the bag end up ripping, but I like the idea of being able to hold a bunch at once. It's not necessary. Obviously, you can just hold it in your hand. I've done that for years, but sometimes I will utilize the handle if it is heavier, all right, so that the handles don't dig in. That is super cool. Plus, I have another idea for that in the future. So, moving on. This is one of the things I was most interested in, and this is their Cam Jam set. This is the small. All right, so they have their own ratcheting system here. Super interesting. This one's 12 foot with 1-inch straps. All right, I have a ton of different straps for my truck. I wanted to try something smaller. I don't always need the big overbuilt ones that I use, so that should be pretty interesting. Also, we were talking about a camping trip, and one thing that we both saw, which was some interesting camp lighting. All right, so I wanted to try Nite Ize version of that. A couple different companies make something similar to this, but this is essentially just fun lighting for a camp setup. Now, you don't have to be camping. You can use this in your backyard if you have any kind of, awnings or over cover or anything like that. I mean, obviously you can use it any way you want, but it's just super cool. I just love different LED products, so that's another thing that we wanted to try out. So I'm trying to kind of go from big to small here. I'll just start grabbing stuff. All right, then we have their flip out dual carabiner. I've used very similar products that are very expensive. This is supposed to support 40 pounds. I'm going to test this one out specifically to see how it compares to another, very well-known one. You guys are probably familiar with what I'm talking about. But this should be pretty interesting. Every time I travel, I use something similar on my bags. And essentially, I use it to hold on things. Like if I go to a carnival or who knows what, if I need to just hold my bag up, because a lot of times I'm carrying a bunch of crap. That doesn't change, like from my EDC to a bag. If I have a bag, I usually have a bunch of crap in the bag. It's a heavy item. I don't want to sit and just literally hold it, because I don't do a lot of amusement rides. So if I'm with family and my niece and nephew want to go on rides and stuff, I'll hold their stuff for them. So oftentimes I will use a clip like this, attach my bag, and then literally just use the open hook. But just interesting. So we'll try that out. We have another S-Beaner, but this one's the size 6. All right, I have an idea for that. Let's see here. All right, so next up, S-Beaner. This is the hook and hold. So this is an interesting just open carabiner. So we have the top port is a clip portion, but this one is literally just open. This I can also utilize similar to this. I want to try the difference with the bag. So I can literally clip this to the top strap of a backpack or whatever bag I'm holding, and then just be able to hook it onto something. This is also a much cheaper item compared to something like this, or even the other options. so that if for some reason my bag gets poked at, you know, maybe someone takes it off real quick and steals it, it wouldn't be as dramatic of a loss. Of course, I don't want anything to be stolen, but I just like the idea of trying this with the open hook instead of an actual locking carabiner. So we'll see how that works out. Then I got a bunch of stuff essentially for the keys. All right, so here's the G series. So as you can see, this setup, I use a small G series clips right now on my keys. So this is really interesting because you can clip something through the main clip and then you bring it down to the bottom part here. So in order for it to come undone, it would have to accidentally go past this and this. I've used all kinds of clips before. I've had things fall off my keys with certain carabiners, and that's why I like a lot of locking carabiners, especially when they have like a two-stage system where it's just almost impossible. It's probably not going to be an issue ever. All right, so that one is a number 3. Also got that in a number 2. All right, which is slightly smaller, and also a dual pack in a size number 1. All right, so once you get small like this, it's more like for your keys. These things I can use for different types of gear. All right, so let's see what else we got going on here. Also, another different size, a 2-pack of the smaller ones. All right, the S hooks. This one's supposed to support 75 pounds. These support up to 10 pounds each. So we'll see how that works out. Also, something my wife was super interested in is the nano locks, okay, specifically for her keys. These are pretty cool, all right? So it is an S-beaner, but you could see the opening is super small on the side. So the likeliness of these stiff springs, even though they're small, they are pretty stiff still. It's just unlikely that it would come undone for any type of reason. All right, also got those in black, so black and silver. All right. And here's their O series. These are interesting too. This is just basically a full ring. It's a solid, you know, pretty thick ring, so it's pretty substantial. It's not going to break or anything. But again, a simple little gate and a very, very small opening. So the likelihood of it opening up on accident is very, very slim. But even if it did, the stuff falling off would also be very, very unlikely. Now I want to see if I can use this for my main clip for my keys. I've used split rings my entire life. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've also gone to that cable, you know, where it's the steel braided cable and it has a little screw in the end. I've tried that for my keys before, but I'm going to try this for the main ring on the keys. And let's see, there are, I think, 2 more things in here. This is their medallion, which is an interesting, different design. Also wanted to play around with this, whether I want a big open ring or if I want something like this. All right, pretty cool. And another set of micro links. All right, this is the not an S-beaner style, but it's the same size as the nano locks. All right, but just a different style. So instead of having 2 ends, we just have the 1 opening on the center. All right, so I want to play around with this for my key accessories as well. So that does it. That is the big unboxing of Nite Ize stuff. I've been such a fan, like I said, for such a long time, and a lot of these products, like I knew about the nano locks, but a lot of the other stuff I didn't even know existed. You know, the G locks, I have used smaller versions, but like I had no idea about the ratchet system until I checked out the website. The lighting I saw somewhere else, so when I saw they had it, I wanted to try theirs as well. Just really cool stuff. So very interested and excited to try this out, integrate this into all of our gear. Again, not just myself, but my wife. Even though I'm very much, like every hobby that I like, the guns, the knives, the outdoor stuff, everything is like super intense. My wife likes all the same stuff too. As far as outdoor stuff, she's probably more knowledgeable, to be honest, with a specific type of gear. I mean, she watches video after video after video with all these different people. In the last year or so, she's followed a lot of different, you know, hikers that do these like 5-day trips, 200-mile hikes, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's really interesting being exposed to all different types of products. But yeah, I mean, as far as EDC, that's the stuff we relate to the most. That's what everyone relates to the most because anyone can use it. You know, you don't have to be a certain type of person, live in a certain type of life. You don't have to be an extreme hiker or, you know, mountain climber or someone who camps 80 times a year. Just everyday people. We have keys. We have, you know, different things that we can utilize stuff like this for. So it'd be really interesting to see how some of this works out. But, I mean, I don't foresee any issues, obviously, with any kind of connection or carabiner type item here. I just want to make sure that with constant use that these gates don't open up. That's the only concern, obviously. But they are pretty stiff, which is really nice on all these products. Even though this is not a very large clip here, it takes a good amount of pressure to push on that. Unlike their Chinese counterparts, no-name companies that are making similar type things, but they open so easily, there's such little pressure needed. That's the kind of stuff I've used in the past where my keys literally would fall off, or I'd lose an item, it would become detached. Thank God I haven't, knock on wood, let me find some wood somewhere. I have not actually lost anything. It's just I've literally went to go grab it, or it was a piece came off in my pocket, let's say that. So I go take my keys out or whatever the case is, and I'm like, oh, where's the light, or where's this part, and then I find it loose in my pocket. So yeah, that's a no-go for me. I do like the locking little mini carabiner, the S-Beaners. Those are super cool too from Nite Ize. I'm utilizing those right now on my keys. You guys have probably seen in my EDC updates. Those are awesome too because they actually lock. You just have that extra security. That middle piece has to be rotated and turned before these carabiners can open. But it's not as convenient sometimes. Not that it's a huge deal, but I got big fingers. Sometimes it's hard to get in there and unlock it. Like if I go to the dealership and I have to give them my key or something like that. But also as you guys know, I'm constantly swapping out gear. So going through my keys, okay, I want to carry this light, now I want to carry a different light, oh, now I want to carry my handcuff key, now no handcuff key, then let me try this gadget and that gadget, this knife, it's constantly being manipulated. So just interesting trying new stuff. But that's it. If you guys have a Nite Ize item that's in your EDC, let me know what you carry. Maybe there's something cool I didn't even see yet. And obviously as time goes on, things get discontinued too. There's some old stuff I'm sure that they don't make anymore that people are still using today. But yeah, just like I said, excited to try all the new gear. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.